Hey, how's it going guys? Neeler here, and today I am gonna be modding this K70 Mini. The mod that I'm gonna be doing for this keyboard is just to make it sound nicer. Nothing really fancy. Just using cheap materials and some items that I already have laying around the house. This is not my keyboard and I'm definitely not getting paid to do it. So that's why I'll just use whatever that I already have. Okay, so first task is to clean this disgusting keycaps and remove whatever these dirt that's on top of the PCB. This is my first time opening this board, so at this point I'm just winging it. After removing the plate screws, I had to remove the front plastic part. I used a prying tool to remove it. I was trying to be really careful not to damage anything. Next is removing 4 screws on this plate. On this back plate right here, back plate or PCB. Not entirely sure what this is for. I think it's for the underglow RGB. This flat connector was hard to remove, so I decided to leave it on and just to work around it. There are 5 screws on this plastic holding the battery. One is hidden behind this protector sheet and another 2 for the USB-C port. Okay, now with the mods. I added 2 layers of tape here at the back of the PCB. Alright, here's the tape. We'll see if it fits. Okay, removable. So for these stabs right here, the stems has those 2 springy plastic feet. So I had to remove them to make it flat. So when it bottoms out, it doesn't make that springy or pingy noise. I washed all the stabs with water and soap and let it dry before applying the lube. I used dielectric grease for the wires and some random switch lube on Amazon for the stems and the housing. There's a lot of hiccups on this rebuild, and this is the first one. So I reinstalled the stabs and forgot that I'm supposed to put a thin packing foam on top of the PCB to help with the dampening. After adding the foam, I did prick some holes to help with installing the switches. I also added the same foam at the bottom of the case. See, before anything else, I did install the batteries first to check if the keyboard is still working or is still lighting up and nothing is shorting anything. It lights up, so I'm good to continue. All the switches was lubed using this random switch lube that I found on Amazon. I had this from way back, so I decided to consume these. I also used GPL 105 lube for the springs. Now the hardest part of the rebuild is putting everything back. And this is where the second hiccup comes in. I had to prick multiple holes for the screws, and they are hard to find because the tape is blocking them already, and you know this battery thing behind the PCB is just a pain in the ass, making everything so much complicated than what it has to be. And I had to tinker with a lot of stuff here just to squeeze in and align the USB-C port, also aligning the on and off switch. And it took me a while to get them to line up, and I almost gave up. Alright, so I did a type test to check if there's anything that's off, so I can adjust some things, you know, add some lube if I need to, remove some stuff, tape, whatever. And here comes the third hiccup. The foam I installed on top of the keyboard is actually interfering. The wires of the stabilizers are making some scratchy noise. Take a listen to this. So here I go again, tinkering with the board. What I had to do is to cut around the switches where the stabilizers are. I remove the switches first, cut the foam on top of the PCB, and luckily the foam is thin, so I cut a little bit and I just use the tweezer to just rip it off. Okay, now for the actual final sound test. Take a listen.